In the previous module, we talked about the client contact page, as well as briefly reviewed the activities, details, matters, tasks, and files tabs, and introduced you to the quick action toolbar located at the bottom of the display. Now, let's go ahead and dive into matters. The Matters tab in a client's contact card will list all matters associated with the client. As a reminder, every scope of service outlined in the Marble Agreement, whether it's 1, 2, or even 3 services, exist as their own unique matters in Lawmatics. And from the Matters tab within the client's contact page is the easiest place to launch or take action on a specific scope of service or matter. Now, within the Matters tab for each scope of service or matter is some very helpful information. First, you'll be able to look at the specific scope of service and its case description. Below that, you can see the date in which this service was created, as well as where this service is currently at in service delivery. You'll be able to look at any upcoming tasks and events associated with the scope of service and the specific practice area the scope is associated with. You'll also have access to matter notes or updates related to this particular scope of service, from the most recent update, located at the very top, to the oldest. Now, to open a matter, it's as simple as clicking the Go to Matter box. Now, the Matters page includes valuable information about the client and the scope of service they've retained Marble for in representation. We can break the matter down into 2 sections, the Info pane and the Activities pane. Let's start by reviewing the Info pane. The Info pane is located to the far left of the display, and it includes basic information about the contact and matter. From the Info pane, you can view the following information: the matter at stage. Now, stages are going to vary based on the specific scope of service, and Lawmatics will automatically assign the scope of service to a specific service delivery pipeline, which is viewable on the right-hand side of the display under the Activities pane. Now, this gives us a at-a-glance understanding of where this scope of service is currently at in its journey through Marble. Now, to update the current stage that a scope of service is at in service delivery, go to the Matter at Stage under the Info pane and click the down bar. And from here, you'll be able to select the specific stage that the service is at. Every scope of service starts with a strategy review and onboarding call and concludes with scope closure. As you can see here, there are multiple steps in between those two, from collecting documents to drafting, filing with the court, so on and so forth. And these specific stages change depending upon the scope of service. In this example, for the divorce petition, we're going to change from preparing for court to appearing in court. And on the right-hand side, under the Activities pane, we can see that it advanced from preparing for court to appearing in court. Under the Matter at Stage is Matter Relationships. Additional contacts associated with this client or matter will display here. Perhaps a spouse or child or someone who isn't necessarily directly involved or named as a party in the matter, but has a crucial relationship with the client for us to log. Then we have essential information, such as the client's contact information, like their primary phone number and primary email address. We even have visibility on their mailing address. And below the essential information is matter staff. This reflects the Marble team members assigned to the scope of service. Matter owner will always be your client manager, while lead attorney will be you, the co-counsel. Now, under lead attorney, there will be several other options, such as the originating attorney. Perhaps this particular scope of service was redispatched from another legal partner here at Marble. If so, their name will display under originating attorney. Or if you have a Marble paralegal or even in-house paralegal with your private practice, their information will display here as well. That's the Info pane. Under the Activities pane at the very top, you can actually confirm that this is the specific client and the scope of service that you are currently handling. Underneath this is the case description. This details the scope of service and what this service includes. This information is critical for understanding the services we are providing and what the client has retained Marble for in representing them for the specific scope of service. And then to the right of that is a specific practice area that the scope of service or matter is occurring in. Below this information is the pipeline. And we discussed earlier in the matter at stage in the info pane that the pipeline is specific to this scope of service and where the scope of service is currently at in service delivery. Below the service delivery pipeline are the activities, details, notes, tasks, and files tabs. These reflect very similarly to those within the contact page. Under the activities tab, you have multiple shortcuts, including adding a note, scheduling an appointment, adding a task, sending an email, and even sending a text message. And we're going to review each of these shortcuts in future videos. At the very bottom of the display is another quick action toolbar specific to matters. And from here, you'll be able to use guided forms, send an email, and upload a file. And we will review these as well.